Good morning, everyone. Video that you're about to watch was an impromptu conversation between Ann Callaghan and myself this morning. Getting together, having our usual kind of recalibrate over the weekend. So what the fuck have we gone through this time? Discussion. We get into a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of things just kind of flowed, and we decided we would release this publicly. Because I want people to think about some of the stuff that we brought up. Last night, the UnFuckers watched the movie Inception together. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, you need to watch it. If you've seen it but a few years ago, you're going to want to watch it again. I'm actually going to sit down today and watch it again. Wednesday night's UnFuckIt Discussion, I can guarantee we're probably going to be getting into a lot of the topics that kind of come up from this and some of the stuff that Ann and I talk about here. So if you have a chance, watch the movie Inception. Be prepared. It's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to pay attention to, little details, and every time you watch it, you see and you kind of gather a new little pieces from it. Yeah, so this is just our impromptu conversation. So my kids are coming in and out. There's lots of noise. This is kind of the typical day in our house. So, yeah, have a listen, and please give me your thoughts below. Just give me your thoughts below. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Yeah, exactly. All those little jobs, so it's not going to take you too. Really, it's not going to take you longer than it's going to take. Oh, my dream is a room where the sewing machine is there all the time, Dani. You don't have
that's
to.
That's my community dream. Is having a room for the kids. It's a craft room for the kids that is posable, like floor, ceiling, walls. Fucking take a hose and just hose the whole thing down so they can paint on the walls.
Yeah,
they can throw clay. No one cares. And having a room that is a craft room for the grown-ups. It's got like sewing tables set up, bins and bins of fabric and clothing that have just been put in that you can remake, that are and just like all your threads, big boxes of buttons you can go through and pull out whatever you need. Yeah. That's been my dream for fucking 20 years. 20 years.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. Talking about weirdness, Dani, when I was so taken out of it yesterday, 3 separate times, I just had to sit down. And it wasn't like, I have to go to bed and have a nap. It's like, you have to sit down now. And what I would, and I started seeing this, it was like, it's a very odd kind of thing. It was like something was being created. Do you know, if you were drawing a village, and it was like if you were drawing something, and there were trees came into it, and something else came into it, and something else came into it, and it was like this, and it was not really realistic. It was like
roughed in.
What?
Like it was roughed in.
Yes.
Just kind of quickly,
Yes. And it just went on and on, on. And I couldn't move. I was just there. And I'm packing this order, has to go to Japan today. So, it had to be boxed yesterday. And I pulled myself off the sofa, got it into the box. And then I was gone again. So, I don't know, you were saying about weirdness. That was like, I don't know.
I was okay yesterday. Yesterday was an okay day. It was Father's Day, so I don't know, maybe pulling yourself together, maybe that was what it was. So, took Nick out to the hippie shop and bought him a pair of pants that he's been looking at for ages. And they're so not him, but he's been really like, they'd be great boy pants. They're very balloony with like the tighter ankles, and they're all just black, but all the edging has been done in red, and they've got really nice deep pockets. Nick has always got crap loads of shit he carries with him, so they've got nice deep pockets, and they got thigh pockets, and so I bought him those, and then we stopped, and he had a beer, and I had a coffee, and we had just a plate of chips at the cafe, and then we, came home, and the girls went out to the movies, so it was just us and the boys, and we just had like stew that I'd been put on the bone broth like 2 days before, and so it was really, really quite, for the most part, pretty mellow, pretty relaxed. Now I had another issue fucking come up. where I was just like, I don't want to deal with these shit.
Wow.
And sat down to watch the movie last night. And it's funny because, like I said, I haven't watched Inception in years, and I've never seen the end of the movie. I've seen it twice and never seen the end. So I was really excited to watch it last night. Got into it. And of course, it's like a lot of those type of movies where you can watch it 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, but then now you watch it again and you see so much more. So I was just like, holy shit, some of the shit in this movie. I'm going to sit down and watch it again today, like by myself.
Right.
Just sit and watch it. Maybe like with Nick or something. But went through it, and then afterwards we ended up staying up because, I mean, the movie was 2.5 hours long, so it was like 12:30 at night before it was over. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was shutting down. Like, I could feel myself completely shutting down. And I was like, okay, Star, I'm going to turn you over to host. I have to go. At one point, I felt really, really bad. Hodgson was putting some really good stuff out, and his mic was cutting out. And I couldn't concentrate. I could not. And I started realizing, like, as people were bringing these pieces up, JC, Penny, brought in, she was really affected by the movie. Like, she was just like, oh my God, this movie has actually brought a lot of clarity to me. Like, and she's obviously from the post in UnFuckers. She's, after the movie, she has actually thought there's a bunch of different stuff she put in. The chat is really interesting to read. The chat is really interesting to read. And I may just post the chat up, so if people want to read the chat, like, while they're watching the movie themselves, that's a good idea. Maybe I will post the chat, because there was some interesting shit that everyone brought up during the chat. And I was just going, and at the end of the movie, Andrew was saying the whole thing. She made this comment about waking up, and I think it was Andrea, said something about, we always say good night, and maybe we shouldn't say good night, and maybe we need to change that and say, like, wake up.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to bed, so wake up. Kind of like just changing up how we use these words. So we joked about that. So I went into bed, and I was exhausted. And Nick was still up. He had literally was just getting into bed, and he was turning out the lights. So he was really tired. I was really tired. So said a couple of words about the movie, and went to sleep. And I kind of just laid down and was like, right, just wake up.
Yeah,
just wake up. And I had dreams, and it was kind of very Inception-like. And you sit and you go, okay, well, then it's chicken and then the egg question, right? Like, is the movie put the thought into my head, or is the movie allowed me to kind of catalyst to kind of look at this stuff? And I can't remember any of the details of the dreams now, of course. But as I was going through them, I could feel, and there was very much this Inception feeling of, like, going into another layer and going, and I was like, wow. And I got up this morning, and I don't know, I just felt like everything had shifted differently again, and I was just like going through the UnFuckers wall and the stuff that people are posting on the wall. A lot of interesting posts. Someone posted one about this temple in the Golan Heights. Someone else posted something about a guy who's a video game. It sounds like he's a video game guy. I don't know who he is. And he's talking about, he gives a different acronym, but I assume that what he's talking about is like NPCs, like non-player characters, and the effects in life, etc. And he talks about the Gnostics. And he says, what we don't realize, we think of this SJ something or other he was using, so non-player bots, if you will. We think of them being a modern thing. He says, instead, the Gnostics had a terminology for these people, and they said, you can't change these people. These people are, they didn't quite come out and say spiritless or soulless, but you can't change them. They cannot be taken out of that. They are just what they are. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go look that up, because I've never heard that before. I've never heard of it as far as the Gnostics. I mean, because this is, if we can start pulling out ancient, ancient.
Yeah, ancient.
Ancient.
Oh, it's
But
so interesting.
it's so interesting, and I can feel myself. I'm just in this really strange place. Like everything is so unreal.
Yeah.
So unreal. Everything is so.
Yep.
And as we were talking about it last night, so kind of like I said, I was so tired last night. By the end of the movie, I was having a hard time really kind of pulling my head together on stuff. But as we were talking about it, I was saying, there were so many pieces coming up, and in the movie, so many pieces that I could relate to, even the physical shit that we're going through. And the whole thing, there was so many pieces to that movie, and I just sat there and was like, you don't want to get pulled into another narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you always take that cautionary tone of like, okay, so you don't want to get really radically pulled into a single narrative. But at the same time, you look at some of these pieces and go, these feel to me like they're actual pieces. And now I've got to try and like make my brain kind of comprehend the differences between what is a piece and what is a narrative, and kind of the traps between the two, if you will. But
wow,
my feeling this morning, I just feel really, really strange, and I can't like physically strange. Like my head feels physical, everything feels physically strange.
Oh, interesting, Dani. Interesting.
Like it just.
Yeah, you stepped out of a dream, out of one of them. We had this Balinese Buddhist teacher who was out there, like he'd done a 3-year dark retreat where, if you do, the idea with the dark retreats, of course, is that you don't live in your body. Like if you're in a dark cave for 3 years, you spend most of your time exploring other realms. So when he was teaching, one of the first things he said, I remember him coming into the room and he said, so what is this? Is this the dream or is this the reality? And I said, it's the dream. And he said, yes, it's the dream. This is the dream. And I've no idea where to go further with that at that stage, but we didn't go further than this is not real. This that you're here looking at, this is not real. This is the dream. So this is only one of the dreams by the looks of things.
And that was it. So, I don't remember when you went. I don't remember where we were in the movie.
It was very early on. He just connected with the girl architect. And what was happening? That was about as much as I remember.
Okay, so go watch, if you can, find a copy of the movie, download it, whatever. Watch the movie. Because basically he's been called in to do that. Like the Japanese guy calls him and says, I'm going to hire you. You're going to do Inception. So this is not an extraction. Inception is where you actually are implanting the idea.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the end of the movie, because they go in and they start running with the plan. So they take over a plane. They get the guys who come flying on a plane. So they take over the flight. They hook them all up to the Inception thing on the flight. Yes, Peppy.
Yeah. Hi, Ann.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Can I see your arm, please? I haven't seen your arm yet today.
I know I'm going to have a scar, though.
No, you're not. Mom's going to take care of it. It's
getting
better and better. Getting better.
What the frick?
That's just new skin growing, sweetie. That's just new skin.
It looks kind of scarish. But seriously, you could see your reflection in it.
It's because it's fresh skin just growing, baby.
That's why it's so pale.
Exactly. It's got no tan yet. Go put some balm on it, okay?
I wasn't after that one really pale patch on my skin.
Well, you'll have to catch up your tan there.
Isn't he a hoot?
He can't help it but pick it. He's just a picker, and he gets it from his mom and his dad, both sides. Both my children. None of my children have a chance of escaping. They're all going to be pickers.
Yeah.
Because it's where it is. It catches it, like, you know what I mean? If the edges start coming up, it catches on your clothing. It catches on your sheets. And he picks. The one on his stomach looks way, way better because it's not as interfered with on a minute-to-minute basis.
Yeah.
So in the movie, they basically go in They get him on the plane. They hook them all up to the machine. They go into the first level. And then once they get into the first level, they knock him out, the guy who's the Fisher, who's the guy they're trying to Inception point.
Yeah.
They knock him out in the second level, and then they hook up the machine again. And then they go to the third level.
Yeah.
And in the third level, they're like, holy shit, this fuck, it's insane. They're all in this third level. They're the guy who's the chemist, who's like the East Indian kind of looking guy. I think he's from Nepal, actually. He has to load them all into a van, and they're all knocked out. So they're all still hooked up to the machine. They're all in the van. They get in the van. They're going to go with the next step deeper. And because the bodyguards for the guy are coming after them. So they're shooting up everywhere. They're shooting up. He's got to get them out because they're all now knocked out to go into the next level. There you go. And then they're in the next level. And in the next level, Cobb, the main character, DiCaprio's got to play this game. And the subconscious of Fisher is realizing something is not right. Something is going on. So basically, he comes clean, says, you are in a dream, you're being attacked. But he takes the point of like, I'm your bodyguard. I've been sent in to protect you from this. And then they convince him that he has to run the next dream. The only way they can figure out what's going on is for him to run the dream. So again, they hook everyone up in that dream, and they go into the next level. And time, each place is going differently. Radically differently. And I was trying to work out the math, and I started going into the math, and it was like, oh my God, I actually do want to, not from not as an exact, but I would like to work out the math because it's kind of interesting.
Yes.
Plays into that whole feeling that a lot of us have had of like, this reality is only 100 years old.
Yes.
Or maybe even 10 years old. Or may only be 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm older than reality.
There you go. You're older than reality. And then then they're in the next level. And there's another whole epic battle going on because in each level, Fisher's bodyguards are coming in. And the guns are blazing and all the rest of it. And then you get to the final piece where Cobb and the girl architect have to go into a fifth level. And they end up in his personal level. They're in his consciousness. And they end up in the level in the world he has created with his wife.
Yeah.
But all of this is going on. You have 5 levels. They're all running simultaneously. So your brain, your consciousness is running simultaneously in 5 levels. And time is going completely differently
in each one.
Each level.
Yes.
Time is going completely differently.
Yeah. How weird, Dani. Weird.
And there's just aspects to this movie. And then someone brought up another aspect. I think it was Penny. J.C. Penny. I think she brought up another aspect. Do you realize from the beginning that it's all in his mind anyway?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all Cobb's thing. It's all Cobb's psychosis. It's not anyone else's. It's actually Cobb's psychosis.
Yeah.
And then you go, holy shit. So there's these pieces, like I said, and at one point, of course, in the second level, in the third level, where they're all in the van, they're going through this massive chase. Like there's traffic, and there's guys in cars, and machine guns firing, and the guys driving the van, and they're in and out of traffic. And of course, everyone's hooked up and they're asleep, and they're doing this in their seats. And on the level below them, all of a sudden gravity starts going weird. Like they get into a big fight. The one young guy, I don't even know what his name is. I always forget. I always call him the third rock from the sun guy. He was Cobb's right-hand man. The young guy is Cobb's right-hand man.
Yeah.
He's protecting them at another level, and he's the bad guys, or Fisher's bodyguards, are coming in to try and attack him. And it's the very Matrixy, where all of a sudden they're on the roof and then they're done. But as everyone's going through these things, there's an effect that ripples through. So in that level, on the second level, it's pouring rain and storming.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps on the third level and the fourth level having water incidents.
Yes.
Where they keep seeing water incidents. It's thunder and lightning, so you keep hearing weird things.
Mm.
And of course, then you've got the machine guns, and you've got this manic race that's going on. And then then you have the third level, and you're seeing things like they're in a very posh hotel bar, and Cobb's trying to talk to Fisher to kind of plant this stuff into him, and he looks over, there's a glass of water, and the glass of water is just doing this.
Wow.
Because they're under machine gun fire in other places, and the level down. And I thought, all the physical shit that we feel, like all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm so dizzy, or oh my God, I'm so exhausted, or oh my God, I'm in so much fucking pain, or oh my God, so whatever it is. And I was like, there are aspects to this movie.
Yeah, really interesting.
You sit there and you go,
yeah. Yeah, I almost posted something under Indigo. Indigo put up something about dimensions and parallel dimensions and timeline bifurcations and stuff like that this morning or yesterday, and I was almost put a post up there. And I'm keep getting this notion that we have, because linearity is in every fiber of our being, and it's so difficult for us to imagine a world outside of that, and how completely convoluted it could be. Did I tell you one time I was walking down here and a guy was passing me on a horse, and he turned into a Templar knight, and he said, jump up, my lady, jump up behind me. And I looked at him and he looked at me, and as soon as the words came out of his face, he was going, where the fuck did that come from?
Where the hell did that come from?
Exactly. Woo. He was never able to look me in the eye again because he was so embarrassed. Like, he had no idea what happened. No idea. It's like, what the fuck just came out of my mouth? But it was like we for that, couple of minutes.
You connected. And that's part of the thing that plays in the movie, right? Is the connection between the people you recognize.
Yeah.
And at the very end of the movie, when it's all over, and they're in the airport, they've landed, the plane's landed, all the Inception stuff is over. They're all doing their thing. They're all collecting their bags very individually because his team have to all maintain that they're not connected, right? You can't set off any alarms. And then Fisher's standing there. And as Cobb walks by, Fisher makes eye contact with Cobb, and you can see it kind of goes like, I know you. Well, of course he does, because they've gone through all these 3 levels of Inception, or 5 levels of Inception. And is that the kind of thing, like we recognize people, and certain people you just recognize right off the hop. We've talked about this all the time, and you have no idea why. You just you feel them, you know them, and why do you know them so well? I've only just met this person here, and yet you know them. Well, so is it like on a different level, on another layer? There's a
and we've come up, or we've tried to explain these things. I know that kid, the one who got chucked out for the black magic, for instance. First time I met him, I knew that I knew him. Absolutely knew that I knew him. And we try and come up with explanations to do with, past lives or soul groups or, but then we don't know that, the difference in time outside of linearity, the notion that things are moving at different speeds on the different levels, I suppose you could say, is absolutely fascinating.
It is. And it gives that someone, I don't even remember where it was. We watched something, we talked about it, I don't remember. The theory is based, maybe it wasn't Cliff High. I don't think it was Cliff High. Shit. Now it's going to piss me off. About 2 months ago. And it was talking about all histories happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
If we're all in all history simultaneously, i.e., so the Roman legions are taking place now.
Yeah.
Ancient Babylon's taking place now.
Yeah. And that was my feeling about that.
Discovery of the New World is taking place now.
Yeah.
And if we're in each of those segments,
yes,
you create a linear history where linear history has been created to explain certain things that you get, certain feelings, certain knowings, certain whatever, and yet it's not happening in linear history. It's all happening in layers.
But not even now. Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. Wow. Oh, my brain. My heart.
I feel just woke up this morning, like I said, so I don't know if it was a matter of Hollywood pulled a fast one, and with using a movie, they're able to plant a suggestion into your head, right? Or is there a piece there that, because I woke up this morning and everything is so surreal this morning. I'm like, I should be doing stuff. And it's not even a matter of being tired or lazy or bored or unmotivated. It's a matter of, I got up this morning and I sat at my desk and I was like, okay, what do I have to do? I couldn't think of anything I had to do. No, intellectually, I know I have a shit ton of shit that I have to do. But even to this moment, I'm sitting here going, okay, so what are my priorities? Like, I've got to put my time into order of how it needs to be. Things need to be taken care of. And it's like, I don't know what I have to do. There's like, it's got, even though there are priorities and there's all these things I have to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't, pardon me, it doesn't feel like there's a priority.
Yeah. It's like you're halfway out. You're halfway or more than halfway out of this version of the dream. You know, that kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
It's almost like falling back into bed, you know, it's like,
we talked about that during the movie, because we talked about when you have those jump starts, like when you're sleeping and all of a sudden your whole body jumps, because all the way through the movie they have to do the kick. They do a kick to bring someone out. So like in the one thing, when he's sitting in the chair and they dump him in the bathtub of water right behind him, all set up to go, and they just knock him into the water, because that's the kick to pull him out. Oh, another piece. They use music as the trigger.
Oh.
So his sidekick, the young guy who's his sidekick, they put headphones on him. And whoever's running the controls while they're in, when it gets to the point of you need to be prepared, we're going to be pulling you out, they put on the music. And it's the same song. And then he hears it in the next level and goes, I hear the music. Okay, we got to hurry because we've only got X amount of time left.
Yeah.
And the music, for example, the calling of the name, and like at one point they're desperately trying to wake someone up, and they're like slapping him, wake up, you've got to wake up, you've got to get up now. And we talked about that in the chat of like when you hear music or you hear shit, kind of like someone posted again, the trumpet noises. Those trumpet noises and eerie noises that people are hearing, and it's like, what are we hearing? Because it comes from somewhere. It has to come from somewhere. And same thing. How many times have you heard someone call your name and there's no one there?
Yeah.
And same kind of thing, like the idea of the kick, and then literally, and you have those jump moments. You're just like, and I had one 2 nights ago where literally I was falling asleep, and I wasn't that close to sleep. And I actually tried to analyze it after the fact. But I had one of those huge where your whole body like just boom. And I was like, whoa, but I wasn't asleep. I know I wasn't asleep. I couldn't possibly have been asleep because I'd just been having conscious thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Like consciously thinking a series of thoughts about my day, whatever. So I was not sleeping. I was still unconsciously organizing my thoughts. And then I had the kick, this kick type thing.
Ooh. Isn't it interesting? And isn't it interesting that it comes along after that great big blow up on the wall? It's like another level. It's because I was thinking about the divide and conquer thing, you know, that people succumb to all the time. And this, you know, you're great for not succumbing to that, for holding. So like, not going there. We're not going into divide and conquer. we're staying, which is essentially a place in neutrality, which is coming out of duality or the opposites. And if you come out of the opposites, I think, the controls in place here, the opposites, linearity, keeping this fragmentation and segmentation and so on. So now you come out of that and you go into this, the dream, looking at Inception, looking at, there's some kind of a shift on, Dani, that I feel, because you were able to hold that neutrality place. There's like, we're going a step deeper. We having, just, that's what it feels like.
Well, some of the things that came, like the planting of an idea.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of, and I think I said it after the discussion. I didn't hit record at the end until, like, we'd already been talking for about 4 or 5 minutes before I hit the actual record button. Stupidly. The planting of an idea, and that was the entire concept of the movie of Inception, to plant the idea so well that you believe that you came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And I was talking about the narratives, and we're in the middle of a narrative war where everyone is pushing these narratives. It's all about narratives, and you've got to it's an absolute. There can be no room for discussion. There can be no room for even putting different narratives together. No, it's this narrative, and it's that narrative, and I see that as this competition to plant the idea. Yes, buddy. Don't put it on your nose.
Hello.
Okay, so what do you want, buddy? Nothing.
I'm just here to be annoying.
Okay. I'm just here to be annoying.
Num, 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 num.
Okay. Yeah, off you go, monster face. Go play in the toy room. We are continuously bombarded by people. I won't even say people. You'll say people, the message is being delivered by people, but by ideas, by thoughts that are not our own. I.e., we're continuing. It's being put out like that narrative of we're going to put something in there, and we have to discern whether it's our thought or whether it's been planted into. And
yes.
And I see that was part of what played out last week. There was a thought that was being planted into UnFuckers.
Yeah.
This group is not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Very simple thought. It's a very, very simple thought. It's a very simple statement to make. And then it allows every single person to go into their own place. Because everyone's got their own biases, their own belief structures, their own shit they're working through. And superimpose that idea into their belief structure. It's not what we're told. It's not what it seems, etc. And it was very subtly done. And I know it wasn't Aaron who did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't Aaron who did it. It was very subtly done. And like you said, the timing of it, the way it played out, and then there feels like there's just been, like I said, like you said, another massive shift type thing. Yeah. Another level. Like.
Yeah, it's like holding, like that is sort of what I see you doing, Dani, is like holding this fucking bag of cats to, as much as you can in neutrality, like, because there's every attempt is being made to divide them, to shatter. And if the group shatters, we won't get to the next stage. It's like, that, and it's happened in so many ways, in so many groups. And yeah, it feels to me like there's been, because you were able to do that, there's great potential to go to the next level of the dream, or, to uncover. And that fucking planting, I woke up this morning with and I just felt so sick when I woke up this morning. And then I got this anxiety. Oh my God, what am I going to I have to all this stuff to do this week. And then I was thinking, where did that come from? Fuck off. And off it went.
Yeah, yep. Just fuck right off.
Right off. Yeah.
I have to play that conscious card more often because, like I said, yesterday I had something happen and it really pissed me off and annoyed me and all the rest of it, and then I let it stew. And you let it stew in your head, and you end up having these conversations that are like, imaginary conversations that you have in your head. And I need to remember to do that. And be like, just fuck off.
Yeah.
Just fuck off. I'm not doing this.
Not playing that game. So, that's been like for the last week for me, I must say. I felt, although everything can change really quickly, but I felt very, very calm about, and it is a kind of a neutrality about things. It's like, yeah, so what? And the ability to, to say, to call out the thoughts that as soon as they come in, instead of like recognizing them hours later, it's like the minute that came in this morning, it was like, fuck off. That's, I can feel that coming in. Maybe it was because I watched a tiny bit of the film last night. I don't know, but it does bring that's another benefit. It brings it right into consciousness, the implantation process or the possibility, the potential for that.
Okay, I want to throw two things at you just because one of them came up in UnFuckers this morning when I woke up. Someone put a post saying, oh God, I can even quote it even remotely. Basically the idea of, do you feel like you're getting to a point where things are getting good, and then all of a sudden,
bang.
And a lot of people commented, yeah. They were talking about almost like in years, like as in, like 2011 was a really good year or a really bad year, and then then in 2013, and I said, I'm feeling that, but I'm feeling it on a micro scale, like a week to week, month to month type thing, where it feels like you and I have had these conversations, where 2 months ago it felt like all of a sudden things were starting to go, and you're like, oh, everything feels like it's come together, and then all of a sudden it's like,
yeah,
and then you start to build out, and you're like, okay, things are coming together, yep, it's all coming together, and then again.
Yeah.
So there's that almost Inception type ask. And I had a conversation with my veggie lady on Saturday, her and her husband. And he's very, very quiet. He never, like Sandra and I go, and we go off on all kinds of subjects. He's very, very quiet guy. He never really gets involved. And we started talking about money. And we started talking about money on that kind of on a very normal level. The dollar doesn't, or in our case, the euro just doesn't go very far anymore. It's amazing how things have gotten so expensive. It seems like your money never is enough to quite stretch. And she made a comment, and I looked at her, and I was like, holy shit. She said, yeah. She says, just before, because she takes off the winter months, and she only does her farm truck, like her veggie truck, from like June till the end of October. June, July, August, September, October. So like 5 months. So she says, just as she was getting ready to be out, and then she's out 7 days a week. She said, I had like 500 euros. And she was like, I thought, I'm a little special. So she went and had her hair done. She says, I went and got my hair done, and I got like, a nice conditioning treatment done, and a cut. And she says, it was like 100 euros for the whole kit and caboodle. She says, that was my treat before I'm about to start into like 5 months of like 7 days a week craziness. And she says, but the 500 euros was gone. She says, the 500 euros was gone, and I haven't spent it on anything. And I said, and I looked at her and I was like, holy shit. I said, because, okay, it's really funny you should say that, because I had a little bit of money come to us about a week and a half ago. And it was about $520 Canadian. And I was like, oh my God, thank God, because we were out of money. Again, and you sit there and And I said to her, I said, like you have your set money, like your paycheck type thing that comes in, and you go, we haven't spent anything this month. Like I haven't had to go buy shoes and go, and like it's not like you had to go buy school clothes for the kids, and therefore your budget is completely blown out. There was nothing that we spent that was really over and above. And I said,
Yeah.
and it's like those days when you say, I really don't feel like cooking.
Yeah.
You just get something, like just go out and grab some food. The couple times that happened, she was like, yeah. She goes, yeah. She says, and what did you go and have? I said, pizza and chips. And she goes, yeah. And I said, it's not like we went to change restaurant and had to a 5-star restaurant where 2 dinners cost 100 euros. You went out and had pizza and chips, which for everyone is like 30 euros tops, including drinks, tops. And she's like, yeah. And I said, so we're out of money. And so I got the same thing. I had like $500 come to me. I said, which is only about 300 euros, really, because the Canadian dollar is so bad right now. And I said, I didn't do anything with it. We went out for dinner one night. And even that I can't even cook because Nick went into his pocket and pulled out 50, put on a pair of shorts he hadn't worn since last summer, found 50 euros in his pocket, was like, woohoo, look, we're going to have dinner tonight. There's 50 euros. Yeah. So even that didn't come, just realize it now. That didn't even come out of the $500. And you sit there and went, but the money's gone.
Yeah.
Money is gone. And yet I sit there and I bought like a massive, I filled my backpack with vegetables. Plus I had another bag and it was 8 euros. So it's not like I'd spent, it's not like you go to the veggie truck and all of a sudden you see your prices are going like this. And last year you spent 10 euros and now you're spending 20 euros and you go, oh, I can see it. The prices have gone up. No, I'm spending like 6 euros and 8 euros and got massive bag of veggies for dinner. And it's like the money's gone. And it is, what I was trying to get to with her, because we were both having you could see it, like you're looking at each other and you're getting that kind of, where is the money going to? And I was thinking about it this morning. It was like when I set up Gaia's Garden and I set up and you work out your prices and everything and you go, okay, keep my prices as low as possible. We've got to be able to support the family. These prices should be adequate. This price should be just right. And you and I have had the conversation where both our companies are going, I have to raise my prices. we're not making any money. Every penny that comes in goes directly out to buy more ingredients, to buy more packaging, to buy more. We're not making any money. So it's almost like an inception point. And we talk about the inception point with time. It's almost like this inception point is happening with money as well. Where it's like as we go down a layer, it's like the money is, and it is literally as if it is vanishing.
Yeah.
It's not even.
Dani, if you look at money as currency, it's like, that's what I see. It's a different currency. It's a different, we're at a different currency. And it's like it goes, shoom. I mean, that literally, I put 400 euros from my savings account so I could fix the car. And shoom, it's like, it's moving at a different rate. That's the way I, shoom.
Kind of like that volcano in Kilauea in that video with the lava's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Currency.
It's not sticking around in the way it is.
The current is okay. So go into this. Time is speeding up.
Time and money.
Currency. Current is speeding up.
Yeah.
Because like I said, technically, we should be able to, it's like when I put down pen to paper and I say, we pay this much in rent. We have to, this month we're going to have the electrical bill because we pay quarterly and it'll come up this month and I'll be like, oh, fuck, again, guaranteed. But you've got your rent or your mortgage or whatever it is, and then you put your bills, your internet, your electricity, your water, your heating, whatever. And then you work out, kind of like your food, and then you work out things like the extras, things that you need, your laundry soap, your whatever. the money should be adequate.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not the type of people who go out and blow money on shit. Like, we don't spend money on shit. When I buy stuff, I am literally a penny pincher. You buy stuff that's like really inexpensive, or you buy stuff secondhand. But the money never lasts. It's like the equation, the math doesn't work out anymore.
No, doesn't.
The math doesn't work out.
And
it's funny because someone posted that another one from the gravity research. Oh, what are they called? They did that. The world, you're living in a simulation, and it was the gravity research scientific group, and they put another video out just a couple of days ago. And I love their videos because
right,
like they just make you think. Do you know what I mean? Like they give you another little piece to chew on.
Yeah.
And the guy was talking about math, and basically it's all math. Math explains this, math explains that. And then it's like, but we're talking about math now, and the math doesn't add up. And if the math doesn't add up,
okay,
why doesn't the math add up?
Yeah, somebody told me once that when we really understand quantum mathematics, we will realize that there are figures above and below the line and forwards and backwards. So a 4, for instance, can be a 4 over, a 4 down, a 4 back, a 4 forward. And so the mathematics, the way that the linear way that we used to add up is just not, it's just not real in another realm.
Okay, but here's the thing. Why did it work before, but it doesn't work now?
I think, yeah. And it works more for some people than it does for others. Because there are apparently some people who seem to be well, now maybe I need to do a wider poll, but there are some people in my life, not like the 1% kind of, but you know, who do seem to have their money sorted out, and it does seem to be working for them in the same way. So if our vibration, some people say that our vibration, and I don't know why exactly, is speeding up, right? So if our own vibration is speeding up, it is perhaps no longer synced with the currency of money.
Currency, which is a currency, is going to be a frequency. A current will have a frequency to it, and if we're no longer...
And that perhaps relates to the level of the dream that we're in as well. I don't know. It could. But there's definitely, absolutely, whatever's causing it for us, some problem with money. It's just like the lava flow. It's, unreal.
There's something there. It just... I need to wash my hair now. My hair is like that. That's the one thing, my priority for today. I need to do my fucking hair. There's something not balanced anymore.
Yeah.
And we see it in time. We see it in our experiences. We see it in money. I would even go so far as to say we see it in the physicality, in the volcanoes, earthquakes, storms, geophysical happenings.
Yeah. So,
all I know is like just I woke up this morning and everything feels completely. I don't even like using the word surreal, because even that is not an adequate word. Because the level this morning is that much more profound, if you will, than having experienced this kind of stuff before. It's just not real. And it's the only word I've got. It's just not real. And I can't explain it any better. I wish we had language, but there's something about, I don't know.
Ooh. It's interesting. And as you said that, you it's almost like you look like you're on film. It's really, is Dani sitting in the chair, or is that a film with Dani sitting in the chair?
Is it live or is it Memorex? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow.
I don't know. I just woke up this morning. Like, I literally woke up, crawled out of my cave, so to speak, plunked my ass down in my chair with my coffee and a smoke. I'm still in the t-shirt I was wearing to watch the movie last night, literally. And I'm just, yeah, I don't know.
Well, if you do sit down, Dani, see if you get all this creating something, like it was like a creating or drawing some other realm thing. Ooh.
But see, and it's funny because going back to when you were talking about that, is because that's when my brain has been doing continuously for weeks.
Oh.
I have ideas to create, and sometimes it's a sewing project, sometimes it's a piece of jewelry, sometimes it's a garden, but there is continuously stuff going on in my head that I want to sit down and I want to create something. I want to sit down. So it was really, really funny. So I'll give you a little aside because you'll appreciate this one. So we were talking about sewing, and Nick has a pair of cargo pants, but they're like more like a combat pant. Like they're really not military, but they've got like lots of cool pockets and little pouches and stuff all attached. And I've always loved these pants. They're a great fabric. They're a really nice pair of pants. And they started wearing out. And they've got, because he always has such stuff in his pockets, it's always in the same places where the pants wear out, like in the front of the thighs, where his wallet in his front pocket continuously rubs on the front of the thigh inside of the pants, and they wear out. So he's like, okay, I got to retire these. They're dead. And I said, good, I'm taking them all, do something with those. And last week, I guess it was Thursday, before, anyway, I had to do a few stitching. So I pulled out the sewing machine, put it on the kitchen table, pull out all my threads, my scissors, etc. Did a couple little sewing projects, little stitch ups that needed to happen in t-shirts and stuff. And then I pulled out this, and I was rushing through all the little things because I wanted to get these pants, because I always had it in my head. I'm going to make them, and I'm going to resize them, cut them down for me to wear. So I had worked on the inner seam. I was working on the inseam because you can't. The outseam is where all the pouches and the pockets are.
Yeah.
But I'd already been like planning on how I was going to do with the waist and et cetera, et cetera. And I did have to stitch up the inseam. And I'm famous. I don't draw out plans. I always freehand everything. Whatever I do is I look and I get an idea and I go, okay, and I just start sewing. I don't mark out anything. So I did it, and the one leg at the calf was needed to come in a smidge more. So I put it back on the machine and did it in, and then all of a sudden we were in a rush to go out. And I was like, fuck, I want to wear my pants. And because I knew it was going to be cooler in the wind. So I put them on, and it was like, hey, those look pretty good. And I was like, nope, got to just take one more tuck in into the back. And I threw them on the machine and took another tuck in into the back and just a couple of hand stitches to finish something off. And I was feeling rushed because we're going out, but I really wanted to wear these pants. I wanted to create this pair of pants. And then Nick says to me, but you've got all the bulk, like through the inseam, you can see the bulk where I've just taken them in. And he's like, just cut it out. Just cut it out. I'm like, no, I don't want to cut it out, but I want to wear them, but I don't want to cut it out. And he was like, just cut it out. So I went and I cut it out. And of course, during the evening of wearing them, the whole evening, I was like, yeah, I've cut them. I've taken them that much too much around the knee. They're too tight. I need to let them out. I was like, but I've cut out the fabric. And I didn't want to cut out the fabric. And I felt pushed to cut out the fabric. And it was like, well, damn. No, it's okay. So now I'm like, I'm going to take the entire pants apart and completely rebuild them properly. But this has been my thing. Like all these projects, I just want to grab them and do them and put them together. And And I see them in my head. Like I kind of see ideas and how I want to work them. And then trying to sit down to find the time to be able to sit down and do something, though.
Yeah.
That's where my first, I literally, it's another day goes by and you're like, but another day has gone by. And I didn't get to sit down and do any of that stuff.
Yeah. It's like, it feels like we haven't, that we haven't quite stepped into this place where we, and I don't know, I mean, we're still in that, something has to be resolved around the money stuff, because that's such a distraction, Dani. Such a distraction.
Yes, it's a distraction. I'm just having a conversation right now in type chat with an old friend of mine, We Be Free Mike, who I absolutely love to pieces. And he will do type chat and then he'll just record a little message to me. So it'll be like a little 30-second video message. And we were just talking about money this morning. And he's someone who lives without he has nothing. He has never had anything. He's lived homeless now for 5 years. Right? And I go back to the other side of it when I've got 4 kids. Well, now I've got 5 kids, and sometimes 6 and sometimes 7 kids, sometimes 8 occasionally. And the same thing where you're going like, okay, so is that where I said that to Nick last night. We were talking about budget and money and food. Like the fridge is always empty. Well, when you have a house full of teenagers.
Hoovers.
Yeah, the fridge is always empty. But at the most part, again, I go and I say like, I'm buying tons of vegetables and all that, but the vegetables are so cheap here that it's not like we're spending a massive amount. And the little bit extra that you spend to feed another person at dinner time doesn't equate to the money that is no longer there.
Yeah.
So what is it? Because it is something that has to sort out in one way or another, And I don't make it and make that as a statement of like, we all need to get rich or we all need to have money taken away and have no money. I'm using it literally as a statement of it has to be sorted out.
Yeah.
Because it is a nonstop thing that keeps us from, when you're worried about money, it goes into the fear and it goes into the worry and it goes into the anger.
And it's also takes your time, Dani.
And time is money too.
Yeah.
And it's really, really interesting because the other movie I thought about last night was the movie called, In Time.
Don't know.
And it's basically a world where everything is measurable in time. You're paid in time. And if you run out of time, you die. And you get paid your wage in time. But then when you buy a coffee, you pay for your coffee in time. And everything is in time. That's the currency. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe that should be the next movie we watch. Because there is a direct connection, like we're saying, between time, currency. Maybe that should be the next movie we watch on Sunday night.
Interesting.
Because the movie itself is kind of fluff.
Yeah,
kind of Hollywood kind of fluff. But the concept in the movie of how everything, and there's one scene in the movie because basically once you get to, I can't remember what they say, 21 or 25 or whatever, you stop. You don't age. You don't age beyond that. You can be 40, but you still look 21. Because your clock runs free until that time, and then at that point you got to start paying.
It's chicken.
And the guy who plays the lead role is a singer, a boy band singer. I can't even remember his name. I can picture his face, but I can't remember his name. And in one of the scenes, he's talking to this young woman, and you assume it's like his girlfriend, his wife, whatever. No, it's his mom, and he's at one point, like he's like, she's only got 12 hours left on her clock. And that's how most people are living. Most people live with less than 24 hours left on their clock. So they're continuously scrambling to come up with time so they don't die. And at one point, there's the big scene, and he's racing to get back to his mom, and he gets delayed. Because he's earned some money, some time, and he's going to give it to her to extend her time. and it gets to the point, and he misses her by like
Yeah.
15 seconds, and he watches as she just goes,
Mm.
and he was but there's a direct analogy in the movie about time and money, time and currency. I don't know.
Ha. Very
I
interesting.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, now that we're talking about it, I reckon it'll be the next thing up. That.
Let's see what appears.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see what appears.
Yo.